Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Matt, also known as Miggins on Twitter, and this is Hobbit Hole Books. Today, yes, you've probably seen the video, I hope it made you laugh, but I have decided to give in and do the mid-year freakout tag. Question 1 is the best book that I've read so far in 2022. Now, this is a really difficult one. I've read lots of great books, particularly indies. This is like the year of the indie for me. But if one has to stand out, and one does to be in this tag, it has got to be We Break Immortals by Thomas Howard Riley. I mean, just look at this beautiful cover that Thomas sent me. And he gave me some really cool maps. I'll show it off in another video. And basically, this book is about a drug-addicted detective who goes around seeking out magic and using physical clues and a sort of scientific based magic system. So it's a very hard magic system in this to discover that. There's his friend who's like the world's greatest swordsman who you've never heard of, is how Thomas describes it. And then there's a woman, and she is a magic user, and she basically hates this detective. And they all end up kind of in this chase going after this insane serial killer who wants to become immortal and a god in this society. My goodness, was it? Oh boy, what a start to the year. I'm so grateful I found this book. It's just really heartfelt, emotional. It's got a little bit of Indiana Jones adventure in there, magic bubbles, cults, there's foreboding, there's foreshadowing. It was really just an amazing experience, a journey. And that's why it kind of tops out my best book that I've read so far, because I remember the journey that I took. Number 2, the best sequel that I've read in 2022, which is both easy and difficult to answer because I've not read many sequels. In fact, maybe one. I think it might just be Master Artificer, because I've started a lot of series this year. That's my mood reading. Yeah, I started a lot of series because I really need to catch up on the fantasy genre. So, Master Artificer by Justin Cool. Now, I'll link the video for the Silent Gods, where I talk about why you should read it and why I really enjoyed it. It's a really thick book. It's a chonky boy. You know I love my chonkers. It's really got that, again, similar to We Break Immortals, that emotion, that heart. And you're watching these characters on a journey, which basically the whole premise of the series is you know, you're kind of following the guy who is destined to become the Dark Lord. And it makes for really interesting twists and turns. And Justin has spent years and years making this world up. Same as Thomas. They're actually really similar. It's funny, we've pointed it out on Twitter, and I think they've become friends now because they've sort of connected the two. He spent such intense and immense world building. And it was just, yeah, really enjoyable. Left in a really exciting place that I'm very eager to get Master of the Fallen, which I believe comes out in April 2023. Publishing industry getting lucky with all the delays that are having at the moment. 3, new release you haven't read yet, but want to. I have to think about this one. I should have prepared for this. The one that comes to mind is The Book Eaters, I believe it's called, by Sunyi Dean. And one of my friends on Twitter, one of my fellow blog reviewers over at Fantasy Book Critic, and he has read it, really enjoyed it, and is encouraging me to read it. You know what, I'm not really that interested in the books that are coming out this year, but there's only a few that I've been really interested in. But actually, listening has really actually made me interested to maybe pick that one up someday. It's set with like some mysterious creatures, like in Yorkshire, I think, and they're like kind of like underground creatures. It sounds pretty cool, actually. So that would probably be a new release that I haven't read yet, but want to. Number 4, my most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This is a tricky one. I feel like I should say The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson, because he's my favourite author. But this year I've really I've spread my little wings and I've flown the nest a little bit. And I need to get back into Brandon. I need to get new books because I lost some of them in a move. So I feel like I should say lost metal, but actually I've kind of not lost interest, not at all. I'm just not as hyped for it as I was. Stormlight 5 is the big one I'm hyped for, but I've diversified myself in the sense that I'm reading different authors. So actually I'm probably going to say the first binding by R.R. Verdi. Especially after Shivani's read it and really enjoyed it. I look forward to her review and Petrick's review and interview and just interacting with Ronnie on Twitter a few times. It just looks amazing. I did start to read it a little bit. I've got the e-arc, and I'm very, very excited to get to it. So that probably is my most anticipated read of the second half of the year of a new book. If we're going by books that haven't necessarily come out this year, released this year, then it's got to be The Ships of Meria by Janny Wirtz, because I've just read Curse and the Mistwraith, and oh my goodness, that was an entire book orgasm. Pretty much the entire book. So, book 2, oh boy, I don't know if I'm prepared for that. So I'm going to read books 2 and 3, one after the other. I want to say simultaneously, but it's not, because it's like one after the other. Subsequently, I don't know what the word is. English fails me sometimes. But because they form Arc 2, I'm going to read them both together so I get the full kind of picture. Oh man, there's so many ones that I could say now. So many books that I've got that I need to read that are... No, we're gonna stick with Ships of Meria on the books I'm looking forward to reading my TBR for the second half of the year. And I'm going to say... first binding for new release coming out with the Lost Metal kind of sliding in there. Biggest disappointment, I mean, come on guys, if you've seen it, you're not going to be surprised. By far, is Red Rising. Sorry guys, moving on, because I don't like talking about crushing disappointments, because I was really looking forward to that book and I really wanted to like it. The biggest surprise. I am probably going to say, actually, We Break Immortals, for one, because the funny story about this, I'd kind of seen Thomas on the periphery of my Twitter, of my friends, and so I sort of was aware of who Thomas was. And I'd seen this cover, and at the time, I'd only kind of seen it on the little screen, and it didn't really stand out to me. And I kind of thought, oh, I'm not really interested in that. And then it was actually talking to Thomas and reading his website and finding out about the world and how immersive it was. I was like, oh my goodness, I have just entirely misjudged this beast of a book. And yeah. But even then, I don't think I was prepared for how much I enjoyed it and how much it would really hit me. I want to read it again. I mean, I probably need to before the end of the year, because I crammed so much stuff in this old cranium that I need to recall some of the finer details for when book 2 finally comes out. But also, I want to say Oath. Or I've read 2 similar books. It's Chaos Reigns, Oath Broken. I think I'm going to check that. I checked it. I was right. It is Oath Broken, because I'm reading a book right now called Oath Bound by R.S. Ford/Richard Cullen, and it's a historical fiction. And I've got fun little plans upcoming for that. It's a really fun read, actually. A little sneak peek of my thoughts there. Don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to roll with it because we love the vibe. We love the vibe. Favourite new author, debut or new to you? No, we didn't finish talking about the other thing. Reverse. And I'm back. So, Chaos Reigns, Oath Broken by Jared Smith. Yes, this is an urban fantasy, and I've got to be honest, I've never really been a massive fan of it since I read Stormfront by Jim Butcher, and I found it a little lacking in fun plot There was a little bit of fun humour in there. It was a little bit dated sexual politics. Just didn't want to make me read on, and so it kind of put me off urban fantasy. But Jared gave me the audiobook to review for free, and which reminds me I need to finish the review for that. And I actually found it was really, really pleasant surprise. I had a lot of fun. You know, I mean, it's still fairly high stakes. It's not world ending, but it was, you know, it's an enjoyable read. There's a lot of humour in there, banter. There's enjoyable relationships between the characters, which really made it work. The plot was far, far better than Stormfront. Far more engaging. And there's a lot packed in there of stuff that you can tell is Jared spent his time figuring out this world that as the series goes on, the scope will widen, and as, from what I've heard, Dresden Files does, it becomes kind of more epic in scope. And so I'm excited to see how that turns out. Number 7, favourite new author, debut or new to you. It's a tricky one because I've got Thomas Howard Riley, I've got Justin Cool, I've got Jeff Spates, I've got P.L. Stewart. I mean, most of my reads have actually been new author reads. But my favourite author has got to be the maestro herself. And if you've read her books, you know actually how clever that sort of punny nickname is. Janny Wirtz. I mean, oh my goodness. I have never read prose like that. I mean, you think Patrick Rothfuss is flowery? Not that I've read... Name of the Wind. Not that I've read Name of the Wind. I've seen like samples of it. But you think that or George R. Martin or Robert Jordan? No. You do not know the meaning of poetic prose until you've read Miss Janny Wirtz. My goodness, how she has gone under the radar. It is a travesty, an injustice of epic, world-ending proportions. And I am so glad that I'm going to be partaking in discussions about the first book, Curse of the Miss Wraith. There's going to be Philip Chase and AP Canavan doing it on their channels. Patrick Leo is going to get involved at some point, I think. Jimmy Nuts, he's going to get involved, the old Nutster. Man, yeah, what an author. Just wow. Wow. 8, newest fictional crush. Woo! This has got to be a tricky one. But the first name that came to mind is Sodja Ruckus from Justin Cool's Master Artificer. She's kind of like a little thief, a little bit sneaky, but also she's got a heart, she's wholesome, and she's fighting for justice. And yeah, I really kind of vibed with her whole character. I don't really ever get crushes on characters, but if I was to say one, that's the first one that comes to mind, actually. 9, newest favourite character. And it's gotta be Corin, the world's greatest swordsman that you've never heard of. He is an absolute blast, a riot, and you can find him in We Break Immortals. Love him. He's just kind of like vibes with my humour. He's kind of silly. He's like, I'm not sure if he's self-aware or not. It could go either way. He just made me laugh, and I'd like to see more kind of emotional depth from him, but he was just my newest favourite character. Not necessarily like the most in-depth character I've ever read, but my favourite character. So, I mean, the character writing is great. Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that this isn't like number 1 fictional character ever written. It's just my personal favourite. Number 10, book that made you cry. We Break Immortals, Master of Sorrows, and what was that one? Ruin! How could I forget Ruin? By the Master Bard, John Gwynne himself. That ending. Thank goodness I'm getting to Wrath this month. 11, book that made you happy. You know, I like to read books that make me go for the ringer emotionally. So You know what, a book that made me happy, Paladin Unbound by Jeff Spates. It's very wholesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some like little grisly bits in there. You know, there's a lot of peril, but it's kind of a really wholesome D&D vibe, a little bit cozy, harkens back to that 80s kind of fantasy, which I say as if I was alive in the 80s. I wasn't. But yeah, I mean, all my books make me happy, but the ones that don't emotionally crush me, Paladin Unbound would be that one. Oh, 12 most beautiful book you brought so far this year. And I'm going to be sneaky on this one, like a few of the other ones. I think that having seen this is the most beautiful book that I have received this year. Just that cover, I mean, gorgeous, and that wraparound. Who designed it? Was it Felix Ortiz? No, cover art by Omar Burak Onal. I'll find the link for them and put them down below, because, you know, actually, I love Felix Ortiz, but it's refreshing to find a cover that's not done by Felix Ortiz and Sean T. King. But then I'm also going to say the most beautiful book in terms of prose and story, Curse of the Mistwraith by Janny Wirtz. That ending, oh my goodness, it didn't make me cry. It didn't make me cry. I think it will make me cry if I ever read it again, once I know more further down the line from the series and further books in the series, when we get to know the characters more. Because the ending is kind of very much, it's very much like an avalanche, where it kind of all kicks off right at the end. And there's lots of character development for the main two characters, but the companions around them, we don't get too much time to delve into them yet. But it was such a beautiful ending, because Janny did something I wish more authors do. And I keep saying this, I keep hammering home, I wish more authors stood in the aftermath and were brave and bold, and Thomas does that as well. But I think that was the most beautiful, 100% the most beautiful ending I've ever read. So satisfying, leaving threads that, oh my goodness, that's ominous, but also just completely wrapping it up in the most incredible way. Just, I can't even describe it properly.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Stop the presses! For we have all been deceived. For yet another chunker was made, forged in the fires of Mount Matar. Mother Grimdark herself has poured all her savagery, her emotional turmoil, her intense world building, and worst of all, her grimdarkeriness into a book so beautiful that all who look upon it are forced to put it on their Amazon wish list. Looking at you, Andrew, buddy. You know you want to. So this is a declaration of war. We have here a weapon that is both a physical implement and a mental one. Just look at this beauty. See, it's already on your Amazon wish list. Don't try and lie to me. I know. I put it there. Who will win in this battle for chunk supremacy? Would be Thomas Daddy Grimdark or Crystal Mother Grimdark? Find out in my end of year book tag. Back to you, Past Matt. And number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I am going to do a skip card on that one, because I'm going to do a video on the TBR, and there are so many I want to read by the end of the year. So it would take me forever to do that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I made it fun. I hope that you made it worth watching the 10,000th tag for the mid-year freakout. And just in general, this year's going really great. I had a lot of changes at the beginning of the year that freed up my time. And so I get a lot of time to read more than I did. So I've read, I had my Goodreads challenge set to 15. I've now up it to 25 and I'm already 18, nearly 19 books into that. So I reckon I might even crack 30, which is insane to me. So it's been a really great year. I'm very excited. I've got lots of indies. I've got things like Nomads of the Sea by Kofi Zucker. I'm so excited to read. Memories of Blood and Shadow by Aaron S. Jones. I've got Threadlight to start. I've got Realm of the Eldlings to start. I've got Wars of Light and Shadow, Curse of the Mistwraith series to continue. I've got so many, so I'll cover that in another video. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe for more fun content. There'll be more reviews coming. There'll be more special videos. There'll be more interviews. Hopefully I need to get around to arranging them. I appreciate all the support you give me. All the links are down below to things I mentioned in this video, my social media, links where you can tip or see my Amazon wish list. Please comment, tell me how's your year going. Tell me what books you want me to read in the second half of the year. Or tell me what books you really enjoyed that I've read as well. Just come and interact in the comments. I really enjoy it and I really love building a community around. Till next time, guys. Thank you.